Hi everyone, this is my website I created. It's about a music artist. Her name is Phyllis Hyman, and she was known as a sophisticated lady and a statuesque beauty. She was over 6 feet tall, and she recorded anywhere from the 70s to the 90s. Unfortunately, she is no longer with us. She passed away in the mid 90s. But my objective was to introduce people to her music and to her artistry. She also acted, and she had great stage presence as well as a phenomenal voice, to include a signature whistle. She could mimic instruments, so her voice was truly an instrument. And I wanted to introduce people rather to her. I've introduced my family to her, to include my children. So people in this millennium, know Phyllis Hyman. So I try to share her work, her music with as many people as I can, because it's a great love of mine. So this first page has a lot of photos, and at most pages, because she's an artist, they're gonna have the main idea is photos and music, because that's who she was. She was an artist, and she, specifically a vocalist. And I used other artists in her genre, and also of her who would have been of her age group, to mold this website. So I just wanted to get an idea of what most artists have as far as websites, and then go to people once again of her age. So I've looked at Beyonce, I've looked at the Jacksons. I've looked at just all over different people, to include Regina Bell, Anita Baker, people who were in her age group as well. And this is kind of what I've come up with. What I've seen the most was that they usually kind of have a solid background, whether it's white or black or something, and then photos that stand out. 'Cause, that's the main idea for them to have for you to have visuals and audio. So they would have wonderful photos. They would have audio that you can listen to and or purchase. They would have links, some of them, to merchandise on another website. They would have links to YouTube, maybe to view their latest video, or sometimes have their video right on the site. It just depended on, I guess, what they decided to opt into. So this is my tribute, I guess I would call it, to her. And for each page, I kind of wanted to write little snippets and things, about her. Definitely on the first two pages, the home page and the bio, I wanted to make sure I incorporated quotes. And so this right here, I won't read it, but you can read it at your leisure. It was a quote from her album, her latest one, actually, her last one, that she was actually involved with, which is called Phyllis Hyman, I Refuse to Be Lonely. It was posthumously released, but once again, she did have involvement in it and recorded the work before her untimely death. And as you can see, it's the ending is from the late great Nancy Wilson. Phyllis Hyman was an artist. And and I will go ahead and continue on to the next page, which is her bio. I had a problem with the bio because I didn't know how I wanted it displayed. So I just decided to go ahead with regular block quote, and in a silvery white type of coloring, just so it can stand out on the black like everything. And then, of course, another standout photo. My objective for each web page was to have a standout photo on each page because she was such a standout person. And this one here is the standout photo for this page. Since it's her bio, I had to cover a range of ages everywhere from her being a child, through teenage years, which is this one, through her early years of recording, through her, maybe mid 20s or so, of working in clubs, and then a little more polished look in the around the 80s, maybe mid to later 80s for her. Again, that quote, and this one is from a book that's called The Strength of a Woman, The Phyllis Hyman Story by Jason A. Michael. I wanted her name to stand out, and again, this is in block quote. I believe I put that in. And again, the white silvery type of material, lettering against the black background to stand out. And then I used captions in order to display what this was, little Phyllis around 7. So and I wanted these portions to stand out from the bio, so I opted same writing for this because it goes along with kind of a summation of what I felt about her as an artist. Since we this is talking about the bio, so I thought I would just kind of do a little summation. But yet I wanted it to stand out, so that's why the yellow background, the yellow writing rather against the black background. And this was more serious, so I did not want this to be in any kind of a text that would have been considered fun or interesting to view. I just wanted it to stand out, so the red was a definite for the color, and the lettering is very businesslike look to it, because it is serious. Unfortunately, Miss Phyllis Hyman did take her own life, and so I did feel like I had to be responsible, as if this were a website being posted on the internet. If you have someone who has passed away in that manner, I think you must be responsible and put down something like suicide is never a solution or something to that effect, and then provide the suicide hotline number and or website, which I opted in for the phone number. And again, it's emblazoned in red against a black background, so it can be noticed and separate from any other of the writing in here, once again, as well as the font type and style. All right, and I shall proceed to the next page, which is her discography. Discography is just a nice long word to display her music. So it would be her CDs, albums, things of that nature. So of course, she started out in the album age. So it just goes down the list from her and time period from her in the 70s, her first albums, the Booty Years, which records, which is her first album, Phyllis Hyman, then Sing a Song, You Know How to Love Me, Can't We Fall in Love Again, Goddess of Love, Forever With You, Somewhere in My Lifetime, an album which she recorded with the great Barry Manilow. And of course, she then moved over away from that and ended up in Philadelphia recording with PIH, headed by Mr. Kenny Gamble. And again, we have the larger than life photo, which is, I try to have continuity with that, which with each page, and then her other albums to end up being her last one that she was involved with, which is Phyllis Hyman, I Refuse to Be Lonely. All right, and then also, no artist will be complete without some website would be complete without some kind of links to audio, so you can listen to what I've been talking, the person I've been speaking of. So this is a link to a Google Music. And also, when I opted in to do the links, I decided to make the links purple when you clicked on them. Okay, so all right, and that was just showing you what you could view there or listen to there. And then of course a link to Spotify, and this was her second to last album she recorded. And then of course iHeartRadio rather, if you are someone who likes iHeartRadio. And this is kind of like a mixture of music from different time periods of her that you can listen to. All right, and that's pretty much it for the discography. Kind of self-explanatory. And again, when all of the links, not the links, but the navigation, when you hover, it has that gray background, and when you click, it's purple. All right, and then her acting. She was in a play called Sophisticated Ladies. That's why she was so aptly known as a sophisticated lady. And these are photos from that play. And of course, a larger than life photo. Once again, Phyllis in Sophisticated Ladies. again, to keep with the continuity of having a larger than life photo. And this is her in the movie School Days. Quite a few people have seen the movie, may have not known who this singer was in that scene, and that's who this is, Miss Phyllis Hyman. And then also she's had a very acting career. She was in anywhere from brief cameos to semi substantial role in the 1990s to back on the theater stage, but in off-Broadway plays like Smokey Joe's Cafe. All right, and these are just photos. This is from a photo from a still from her in a scene in that movie Soda Cracker, and this is just an example of that movie Soda Cracker. Picture of Phyllis here and Mr. Fred Williamson, with whom she was in the movie with, and of course he starred in it. Next, we have a tributes page. These are just snippets, like posters that are online, were online from different artists who love Phyllis Hyman and wanted to make tributes for her. We have tributes anywhere from 2015, 17, 18, to the latest one that I saw, which was 2020. It was March 6th of 2020. Just to show, I wanted to show people that Phyllis Hyman is still very much loved in the entertainment industry, you know. And as I stated before, Phyllis was a singer, and many loved to share her music with these tributes. So it was a way. It's been a way of showing her honor and sharing her artistry. Then the last page, because we are in the social media age, even though she is an artist who has passed on and who was not of that age, she passed in the mid 90s, but there are people who still love her, like myself, to this day. Again, keeping with a large photo, this is one of my favorites of her. I wish it wasn't so blurry, but this photo was taken, you know, a very long time ago, almost about 30 or so years ago. But I did the best I could with it, but it is one of my favorite photos. And again, some more snippets. You know, as you see, she was also known as a statuesque beauty. She had an enticing stage presence and wonderful artistry, fabulous vocalist. So these are channels, pages, and groups that honor the music of Phyllis Hyman. Here's a listing of Facebook pages, Twitter groups, Instagram pages, and a YouTube channel. Again, under these, I decided to do the same thing I did with navigation, which is have highlights of gray when you hover over them. And I wanted this to stand out. So these each are stand out in red, and you can click on them. And again, when you click, it's purple, and it'll take you to each of the Facebook pages. So this is the one for that. And then as you see here, once you've already clicked, I decided to make it like a sand color to let you know you've already been to that site. And this again will also lead you to this page as well. And you know, if you realize you loved her and you love her music after listening to looking at this and listening to this, you can also join any of these groups if you would like, or if you would, you know. Again, another page. And this is just a snippet of the Facebook pages he has. There are quite a few Facebook pages dedicated to Phyllis. And then I took out 2 Twitter groups. There are quite a few Twitter groups as well. So again, you can click and it'll take you. You'll have to, you know, log in if you want to join or anything of that nature. But it takes you, as you see right there, Phyllis Hyman at lady_of_song. And then we have another one. I won't click on the rest of them. There's hashtag Phyllis Hyman fan page, and they all do the same thing. Once you hover over its gray block, you click, it's purple. When you visit it, it turns sand. And then last but not least, there's a YouTube channel. There are many, but I decided on this one because it's generalized. Phyllis Hyman topic is the name. Again, you click on it, it's purple. When you hover, it's gray. Click on it, it's purple. And it'll take you to, as you see, Phyllis Hyman /topic, and it has an abundance of information to include people who decided to cover Miss Phyllis Hyman. So, and as you see, since I visited it, it is now turned sandy color. And then I decided to end with a few more beautiful photos of her at the bottom. And that's it for my webpage regarding Miss Phyllis Hyman. Thank you for your time, and I appreciate you looking at my site.